not just keep going up. May not just keep fucking going to Valhalla, right? Is when our high point all of a sudden isn't higher than our last high point. See, we have higher high, higher high, higher high. Well, now we have a higher low. Kind of confirmation is if our next low is not a higher low. I mean, this could go up and we'd have a higher low, but now we have lower high and a lower low. We try again and our high point is still lower than the last. Our low point lower than the last. And now you see this red line here where you'll see I usually draw these diagonal lines as a resistance. And it's trying. And what is the first indication that we may start to reverse? The first indication is after a lower high, now we're getting a higher low. We're not continuing to drop down further, right? So what's confirmation or something that lets us know we could be heading into a high? Okay, we've had a higher low. Now our next high is higher than the last. Our low, we come back down and test, is higher than the last. So another thing to understand about this is not to FOMO. What I mean is when you look at these lines, these trend lines, identifying the uptrend as support, you know, we're finding support, and then we lost support. But usually when you break a trend, there's a retest. So you don't want to go short somewhere in here, right? Because we're probably going to come back up and retest. So look for the break. So if I'm on an uptrend, I look to get out on the break or the retest. Same thing, I want to wait until I either have a break of trend or the retest. Does that make sense so far? Anybody got any questions? I'm gonna pause every now and then just so I can hit my pipe and take a drink. And like I said, any questions, feel free to ask. But all this is going to be in Trader Tuesday review, so you can follow up with it. All right, moving on then. I'm going to go right into a chart that shows that. Here's that picture I just whoop, slow the fuck down now. All right. Here's that picture literally that I just showed you. Just drew up so everybody could see. And again, that's in the Trader Tuesday review. Understanding an uptrend, understanding a downtrend, potential reversal points, and the first indicators, right? What is higher lows? What are higher highs? So, damn it, I just did it again. Grab that without meaning to. I don't even know where the fuck that was. So we're just going to look at some price action and kind of establish. And of course, you have to have just some starting point, right? So I'm just going to say this is my starting point. So you can see we're lower than this price. We now have a new lower low. And if we think of this as the high, well, our high point, that's lower. So then we now have a lower high. Here we go into a lower low again, a lower high. And here's our first indication that this downtrend may be reversing. And that is that this low point right here didn't break. Did it again. Didn't break as far down as here. Here was our last low point. We now have a higher low. So if we want to continue again, and we think this is our high, that was our high point recently, we now have a new high point, a higher high. When we get to our low point, this low point is still higher than this low. Right? Now I pump to a high. High is higher high. Somebody hot micing again. But can you understand how we have now this price action of higher highs and higher lows? And again, you'll see me draw trend lines. And I want to look for a break and a retest. Same thing, I'm going to draw support. And once you have basically, I never think, how do I draw these lines, whatever. First, it would start from what is the low, and then the next. And then you can kind of connect the dots and feel the pattern. So, you know, if I got a higher low and higher low, I'm going to buy on this trend again. And you see what happened. Price still go up.
Young Free, Mike, mute your mic, man.
All right, good to go. So our first indication here is, that's where it came from. This would be right there. So this low is still higher than the last, but our high, our new high, didn't break. So we have a lower high. Now our low point just got lower than this low point. That's not good. So this is indication that this may be the end of this trend. Now that we have a lower high and we have a lower low, that's when you may look to say, huh, what's this going to do? Lower high, so we still didn't break out of it. So I would have started a trend line here, a downtrend. Right? So just taking a high point, taking a high point.
I think you're sharing the wrong screen right now.
Oh shit! What's it? Can you guys not see my chart?
It's still on the graph that you drew up before.
Okay, give me a second. Thank you. All right. Wow, man, I just went through a lot. Now it made no sense.
Well, it was lining up on the other one sometimes. Right. I'm like, wait, hold on. Is it like... So I'm glad someone said so. I was wondering.
I'm going to just step back a couple here and show you what we've got going on. Everybody can see the chart I'm moving now, right?
Yeah.
All right. Apologies on that. Okay, so you got to have a starting point. We're just going to make it here, right? This is a high point, right? There's a low, there's a high. So this high is lower than the last, right? And the low is lower than the last. So it kind of signifies downtrend. We try to make a new high, but it doesn't break our last highs, right? So we have a lower high. Here we come into a low. Now, our last low point was right here. It's hard to see on that candle. But if this is our low point, we've now made a higher low, right? So this is indication that this downtrend right here may be over. What really kind of lets us know is when now our new high is higher than this. This was our last high point. We're now at a newer high point. We come into a low. And look at that. Our low point is still higher than our last low. And then look at the volume that came in just a couple candles. Boom. Takes off. We hit a high point. It's still higher than our last high. So you can see this is an uptrend, a series of higher lows and higher highs, higher lows and higher highs, right? So what I would do is draw a line here. How do I get this line? Well, here's a resistance point, here's a resistance point, resistance point. There you go. And look how once we break here, we break and we retest it as we're moving up, right? Same thing with uptrend. Can draw it kind of like this. To start, start at the low, next low. I'm going to make that green just for better understanding. And now that we've got a couple more higher lows and we've got more of an established trend, I would connect the more established trend. Right? So what's our potential indicator that this uptrend may be coming to an end? We get our high point here. We come down. This high is still there. I'm sorry, this low is still higher than that low. That's good. But our new high point doesn't break new highs. And all of a sudden our new low point is lower than our last low. Here's indication that this trend may be reversing. And here's the thing to keep in mind too. Just because an uptrend ends doesn't mean you're going in a downtrend. You could go a slower uptrend. You could go in a sideways trend. So just because you break up doesn't mean you're going down. Just because you break down doesn't mean you're necessarily going up. You just broke momentum and starting something new. But what's indication that this may be a downtrend? We try again, but our high point just doesn't break the last high. So you could think about entering or shorting anywhere in here now. You have confirmation that your highs aren't breaking the last highs. And then, man, once you break, you could look for entry on the break. Or here's the retest. So this is indication that we could be going down. Now, where are we at with price action literally right now with Solano on this chart? I'm going to zoom in here a little bit closer. This is a 4-hour chart. So every one of these candles represents 4 hours of price action. If this is our low, man, it's right on and just above the last low. So is price going to continue down, and are we going to set a new lower low somewhere down in here and set a new lower low, continue that downward trend? Or is price action going to find support right there and maybe come up here, and now our low will become a higher low, right? So this could become a higher low, or this could continue down right now to a lower low. One way to see what might be happening, let's see where, look, we have resistance, we have resistance, we have resistance, we have resistance, we have resistance. That's a whole lot of resistance. So I can kind of set my trend right there. So I'm now looking at this as we are in a downtrend until we either establish this higher low and then maybe come to a higher high and then come to another higher low. You know, maybe that would let me know, okay, now we're going up. But price could easily just hit right here and come back down. And so we're still getting lower lows, not yet getting those higher highs and higher. Is this making sense to everybody so far?
Yeah.
Yep.
Sweet.
Yeah, definitely.
So hopefully understanding this is going to help you understand Thor better. So I'm going to go to the Bitcoin chart from last week, right where we left off. So last week where we left off, we had just hit take profit 1. And if you went in and read and it's right there in Trader Review, you can check it out. I said, just because we hit take profit 1 doesn't mean we're necessarily going to 2 and 3 yet. We could go back up here and retest somewhere around this 32,000 range even. What I have here right now is the downtrend, right? And we may continue down into take profit 2 and possibly even into take profit 3. What's going to show me that has changed is when I start getting, you know, we see here's our high, then we have a low, here's our lower high, here's our lower low, here's our lower high, here's our lower low. Is this going to be maybe a first lower high? Or I'm sorry, a higher high? Maybe. Or is it going to stop here and then maybe give us a higher low? Don't know. But if you read in last week, what we said is we hit take profit 1. You're clean. Move your stop loss up to break even. If you didn't take full profit, you know, take some profit at take profit 1. Move your stop loss to break even. And look for take profit 2, or when we break downtrend, maybe consider getting out of trade. But so last week, where we left off with Bitcoin, right there on take profit 1, like we thought, is still not really showing indication of whether we want to test this 32,000 or whether we want to come to take profit 2. But that is a couple good strong candles in a row real quick right there, but that doesn't mean they're not setting a trap. So be careful with that. You know, that's wait to see what Thor. So let's do that. Let's do that. Wow. Okay. Let's see what Thor says. Thor is saying fucking wait to see what Thor says. Literally, it's not making a call. Meaning even the algorithm of Thor, even with calls less than 1% in all time frames, long or short, it is not making a call at this point. And that's kind of what the charts are showing us, because we either want to see more lower lows or we want to see something, higher lows or higher, show us we're out of this downtrend. And right now we're not seeing it. So that's kind of the update on Bitcoin. Man, if you took that trade, you remember we literally talked about it first time right here. We hadn't even entered it yet. So if you followed the first stream, you were ready for this. This call was made all the way back on May 15th. So you had plenty of time to enter by July 15th. But if you took that call, you made a clean 8.5%, 8.25%, 8.5% right there, TP1. Congratulations. So let's look into Solana then. where are we at with Solana? Where did we leave off? Where are we at with some of these trends? So just like that last chart we were looking at with Sol, remember? If you look at this, you'll see right here, I'll have these same kind of lines drawn on my actual chart of price action with Thor. There we go. So there's that downtrend line. Here was the first uptrend line. And then once I got better support and more of an uptrend, you see I kind of updated it. Right? So this is exactly where we left the charts off last week. The only thing that I've done, I think I may have added this 1 hour and 4 hour. I'm not sure if they were on here last week or not. Let me look real quick at the Trader Tuesday of last week, because I want to be as precise and concise with information as I can for you. Okay, so yeah, we left off at only the 4 hour calls last time. So I just added this 1 hour long and 4 hour short yesterday. And if you look, we got 2 wicks that came down here, filled price in this 1 hour long that Thor called. So let's go to Solana. Refresh. Maybe it's saying it already got to take profit 1. Depending on what exchange you're looking at, it may have already to take profit 1. Yeah. So on stream, we just Thor just missed this call, but I mean barely. But if you would have taken that, that would have been a win for sure. Again, break, retest, come down. So we had a Thor long here. And just like I show you, we go up and down, up and down. We had a Thor long, take profit. Thor came back down, buy in. It's saying take profit. So we may see that this is a lower high. This may be a higher low. Or it may hit here and then just continue right back down here and become a lower low. Or it may bounce up here, and when it gets into Thor's range, man, look at maybe taking this short and see if it comes down here, take profit, may go up and continue up if we establish a downtrend, or it may continue and break down. But right now, you can see we have this downtrend. It did break it, but I'm waiting to see if this makes a higher low or a higher high. Kind of right here. What's that guy going to become? Because if that breaks down, then we can ultimately move our downtrend line here, which that's kind of what that's what I would do. That's how I would update it at the moment. That would be the update. And if you look at where Thor is saying take profit, right here at resistance. And why would that be? Thor called for the bottom to be here, take profit and hit resistance. Called for a bottom to be here, hit resistance, take profit. Now, maybe it'll continue up to here, and then you take profit, right? Or just as likely, or maybe not just as likely, we may hit here and break down. Let's go look at Thor again and see if there's anything I'm missing or don't have on this chart that's now called for. So we have the 1 hour long in play. We have the 4 hour short. We have another short all the way up here at 30.5 to 30.2. That's just kind of how I'm going to remember this real quick. So I have can't remember where shit's at now. 30.5 to 30.24, I think it was. That's pretty close. I'm going to make this red so I know it's a short. And then I want to know what's my take profit zone on that one to TP1. Basically 27.4. So I'm going to go from here down to 27.39, 27.4. Right there. That's what it called. Bam. All right. Here we go. So what this tells me right now, since we now have this new call in play, is if we break here and we establish what would be a higher low and get to a higher high, I would be looking for a higher low, maybe make entry even on that higher low if we find, say, a new support like this. Because and what Thor kind of says here is maybe we'll break resistance, hit the new higher high, because here was our last high point. You can see this 4 hour short would be a higher high, would bring us back in, take profit at the higher low. And then if price was to pump, look at that. Right back into a higher high. That's when you would short and take profit where? Boom. Look at that. I mean, look how, things line up pretty well sometimes. So that would still be a higher low, take profit, and then see if we get a new higher high, or maybe now we get a lower high and we start to break down. Right? So understanding, and again, you just look at those basic patterns. That's how price action plays out quite often. Move. You see this price action a lot. The higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. And that's kind of, and they vary how long, how steep. They're not always going to be perfect. But when you learn to identify where in the trend you are and if you should be taking profit or is it support to buy on, right? What is Thor saying in this? Thor is saying this is support to buy on, but take profit because it's looking at a lower high. Still a lower high. If you short here, this is where you'd look to take profit, right? And look to enter long. This is the Thor call to go long, and we are right about to hit the take profit on it. I have a long on Solana from this call right here. And now we either wait to see, does Solana break down here, and we wait until we get a new long call, a new call to say we're going back up, and maybe break and find support down here, something like this, get it, and then get into the short territory. Don't know. There's no way to know. What
Hey,
you
Mode.
can do. What's up?
On the 4-hour shorts on Solana that's called right now.
Yep.
There's two of them. There's like the one at like 26.5 or 26.3 ish to 26.5. Why is it showing two at the same time? Like, how does it? Why wouldn't it just show the first one?
What it's saying basically is when price gets to this point, look for it to retrace to here. So this just means so what it means on the 4 hours, how it usually takes to play out. So for instance, this opened on like the 25th. That was a pretty quick one. We had profit the 26th. It's just saying that when price gets here, Thor has recognized that this is an area where price is going to retest. Thor just recognizes this area as there's going to be price action. And why I would think that to be is if you look right here, we had price enter this region and then just get out of it. It never retested. It never made a bunch of candles in here. So Thor is saying we're probably going to come back into that zone. Now, it'll probably trigger this one first and drop down to here, like I showed. But if price doesn't break, sorry. So we have support here. We're going to take profit. Let's say instead of hitting this short, we just blast straight through it. Then it's saying we're going to come back down to here.
Okay. I was just wondering if there was a play in between those two shorts, like a long.
Okay. So right now, Thor is in a long. And just because it's going for this to take profit, what you potentially look at is, are we going to break this downtrend? Right? So just because it's not calling for another long doesn't mean price won't go long. Thor is just convinced it will go from long here at least to here because it may break down and follow down, or it may find support down here, or it may break right here. And if it breaks, let's say it breaks right here and does this. Maybe I'll look to buy right here and go long up to here and then short. And then if we hold, look to go long and then take profit and go short.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Thank you. Yep.
And again, all this is hypothetical, and all we know is this is where price is right now. It could go, it could break, it could drop. Thor is just confident it's going to go from this point to this point, and it is just about at that take profit. And you see, Thor called a 1 hour short from here to here. Well, hell, it went from here all the way to here. What's an indicator that it might keep going? We broke this diagonal support line. But Thor was confident that price would at least go from here to here. And what if it found support and kept going up? Right? Then maybe we'd be in this 4 hour short range already. But Thor gives you the prediction of what it is most confident will play out. So even now that we have several shorts here, what, man, that tells me we may find this as the higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and then we'll wait to see if Thor calls a short up here down, or do we break price after we take profit on this? Maybe I should draw that out. Support, maybe we get our higher high because it's higher than this, right? Higher high. And if this becomes our low, it's higher than that low. So I can't draw this green trend line until I at least have one. Where I think that point might be is right here near Thor's take profit, right? Because Thor's confident it's going to drop to at least that. Then we could go to a higher high. Thor take profit. Make a new low, which is still a higher low. And there we see, do we continue up or do we break down? We don't really have any daily calls yet. As if it thinks, we're ultimately going to go down long term or go down short term. We don't know yet.
Hey, when you're trading multiple coins, do you have multiple accounts open for each coin?
Yes. No. What I do have, so let's break something down here. You see, in this 4-hour chart, right? Basically, ever since price filled, price has done nothing but go up, right? Let's go to a 15-minute chart and look at it. Price has not just gone up the whole time, right? Price has gone up, it's gone down, it's gone up, it's gone down, up, down, up. That's how it plays out in each one. So what I will do is I will have an account that maybe one account I'm looking to buy here, take profit here before it goes back down. Or I'm looking to buy right here on the new higher low and get out on the next high. Right? That's what I'll do with one account. Now, one account, what I'll do is I'll try to get out here because that's our high. Now we have a lower high or a new lower low. I'll try to get out somewhere in here and get out back down in here. Right? And maybe get in here and get out up there. Right? So one account, I may make that trade and it may last. I may not get out of it until the 14th of August. Right? Now another one, I may be looking for to get in here at, on the 1st and get out the 1st. Or if it drops down here and finds support, comes back up, that puts us at Wednesday the 2nd. Looks like,
yeah, short-term and longer-term trades?
Yes, because here's an easy way to put it. Is $23 for Solana a good price? Well, it depends. Are you asking compared in the next 5 years? Are you asking if it's a good price for tomorrow? Are you asking if it's a good price for next month? So this account right now, if I'm in this short time frame, man, I'm going to think about I'm selling because this is where I got in. This is where I got out. Where if I'm on a longer time frame, if I think this is what's going to happen, this looks like a pretty cheap price to get in, doesn't it?
Yeah.
This looks like a really good price to get in if I think price is going all the way up to here. However, if I am on a short-term account and I'm looking to make money today, tomorrow, get my money in my pocket, not wait a week, a month, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 months for it to close, I'm looking at getting out. So that's why you don't want to mix a 4-hour strategy and a 15-minute strategy, right? Because this is telling me to sell. But this is telling me it might be time to buy, right? Because we're finding support. We're looking strong. We could go all the way up here. That'd be a good time to buy. But if you're looking at the 15-minute, it's a good time to sell. So that's what I use my different accounts for. So I don't mix up my trade. If I'm buying Solana because I want to sell it next month at a higher price, I don't want to mix that up with the Solana I bought this morning and I'm selling this evening.
What about the tap contract? Like, is the tap contract doing 4-hour and longer?
The tap contract does it all automatically all the time. So the way the tap contract kind of works is it's almost doing it a lot of times on each of these. It can be doing it, buying here, selling here, buying here, selling here. But at the same time, it also bought a bag here and isn't selling it until up here. So that's the power. Thor does both. It will buy the bag of Solana down here and sell it all the way up here for like the daily trades. But it'll also micro trade in between the whole time too.
And then I had one more question. Sorry.
No, fucking please, dude. Please ask away.
Okay, so it was my understanding that the Thor contracts, or also previously known as the police contract, was just trying to accumulate as much SOL as possible. And that's changing, right?
Not necessarily, no. Basically what Thor does is it's going to buy Solana, sell Solana so I can buy more Solana, right? Sell Solana so I can buy more Solana, right? And then when it gets up here, sell Solana and wait until it reverses, like it would sell Solana and wait here to buy back in, right? So what we are opening up to soon, it hasn't started yet, is so you'll be able to take, instead of taking your profit here and just waiting until it's time to buy back in, it'll be able to put that money into selling short. Right? And then it'll be able to buy even more Solana because it used the USD to go short and get more USD, and then buy even more Solana. So, of course, the goal is literally always more Solana, but instead of just hanging on to dollars, it will decide, should I hang on to dollars and just stake dollars until I get the right signal? Or should I take the dollars and open up a short until Thor sees it should go long again? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes 100% of sense, and I think that's going to be a game changer.
Oh, that's when shit's going to get crazy.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay. Thank you.
So let's go look. So right now, and again, you can see it's not quite 50-50 in the amount of SOL. It has slightly more SOL than it does USDC. Why would that be? Because it's calling for shorts, right? So it's still waiting to get up and then sell that Solana to get more USDC, right? But it's still kind of in that mid-range, like we were showing with Bitcoin. We're kind of waiting for the big action. So it's almost sitting 50-50 in the contract right now. But if you look, you'll see some of these, is it going to populate that far back? I guess not. Some of these, like a sell signal here, it was probably because it bought down here. So it probably bought a big bag of Solana, right? Sold a little bit here, sold a little bit here, sold a little bit here, bought some back, sold probably a big bag, right? Probably bought a little bit, bought a little bit. So you can see it's accumulating SOL now. That's what Thor is doing, is accumulating SOL right now. Buy, 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 buy. That's why it's a little heavier on the SOL side. And we're waiting for it to potentially break and go up to the short and go up to the short, right? It really matters, too, how you stretch the chart out. So that's kind of more of a view identical to what we're looking at, right? If we look at just that kind of price range and action, right? There's the chart. So what do we call them for? We had the short, we had the long, hit, take profit. We had the long. We can go ahead and that just hit. That just took profit. Boom. Take profit on Solana. If you took that trade, congratulations. And now we're waiting to see what Thor is going to do or what Solana is going to do. Are we going to come up here? Or is price going to keep breaking down and Thor keep buying? It buys on the way down, sells on the way up.
Has anyone else found that like calls on Thor are really close, but like I mean, I know they hit, but like I always feel like I kind of front run Thor a little bit to get into something.
Dude, it's hard not to. And so, okay, let me show you an example. Let's just use this here, right? And let's say, hypothetically, Thor called for a buy right there. And price didn't quite hit it, right? It goes up. Now, if I find support, maybe I'll look at, and if it called for a long there, it's probably calling for take profit around here. But if I didn't quite hit it, but what did I get? My high or low? So what I would do is I would look to buy right here and put my stop loss right there. So let's say I did that. If I were to buy right here, now these numbers are going to be completely arbitrary, but the percent won't. So I put my stop loss just below the last low. Or I'd put, actually what I'd do is put it real tight. Set my take profit. I'd set my stop loss tight, and I'd set a buy down in here still just in case. But even, if you set your stop loss below last low, again, you can't look at percent because this is arbitrary. What you do look at is your ratio. So this trade is 5-to-1, meaning my reward is 5 times greater than my risk right now. So let's say does that make sense?
Yes.
And just like so let's look at that 1 hour short. Thor called, had a 1 hour short here and had a 4 hour short there, right? Look how close it got, but it didn't hit. But the fact that we came down here, man, that tells me we could be going even shorter. So could go short, down, take profit at the long point. Or you just see we got super close and we got, I mean, that one just dropped through on one candle. There's not much you can do on that. Well, that was a 1 hour. Let's look at it on a 1 hour chart just to see. Yeah. As soon that thing just dropped so fast, but I mean, it was within a couple percent. But that's, you know, sometimes they don't quite hit, you know, but when you look at the numbers, which is close to 70%, 70% of the times when they hit, they're going to hit profit, you know? So, you could have played this short. You could have played it when you broke resistance here, you know, or ultimately you just wait until you do hit the signal. Yeah, you missed that one, but you would have caught this one. You know, you could have already set that one for it to be ready, you know, and after it hits profit here, you can set a short here, set a long here. And if you're not shorting, if you're just buying, you know, spot, basically think, say you buy 10 Solana. Right here, you'd sell 5 of them or all 10, right? Right here, you buy that 10 back. Right here, you sell 5 of them. Right here, you'd buy your 5 back and have money to spare, or instead of buying 5 back, you could probably buy 7 now, 8. Right? So now you got 18 Solana. Or I'm sorry, 7 or 8. That would give you an additional 2 or 3. So now you got 12 or 13 Solana instead of just the 10 you started with down here. Now when it gets up here, you sell it. When it gets down here, you buy it back again. Now maybe you have, instead of 12, 13, maybe you have 15, 16 Solana. Right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if anybody saw that, but we just got a dot 1 hour about to hit the zone. Let's go check it out. Since we're here live, let's see what we got. Go to dot 1 hour. We are getting close. So what this tells me is go set my entry between 524 and 523 and get ready for the short. Or if you already have dot, sell some of your dot in this range and buy it back at 515. So sell some of your dot at 524 and buy your dot back at 515. And you can either buy more dot with that same amount of money, or you can buy the same amount of dot and have extra cash left over. Take your profits in adding to your dot, or take profits in adding to USD for your next trade. Does that make sense? So here's a Thor call for you guys right now. We'll even go look at this. I'll Add dot USDT. So let's go look at dot. Oh wow, I already had something. I'm just gonna reset this. Actually, give me 1 second. I'm just gonna pick some random one, so it's not all fucking marked up. Well, shit, this is all marked up too. Remove drawings. Okay. So, this is a 4-hour chart. I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to just establish some basic trend a little bit. It could be here, it could be there, but to me that might be a break and retest. We'll have to see. So this said 5248 234. So it's real close, ain't it? 248 and what was it? 523. Yeah, that's right, 523. So we'll go ahead and just paint that red so I know that's a short zone. And what's my take profit? First take profit, TP1, take profit. 515.6. So I'm going to say 516. Close enough for right now. Okay, so if you have dot, you can go set a sell for right here. So you sell some of your dot right here in this range. And after, if it does sell, if it does trigger, set it to buy it back right here. Or if you're trading perpetuals or futures, set your sell here or your contract buy here, your contract close down here at 516. What size gain is this? We're just going to take from the middle of the range down to TP1, 1.5%. So if you use leverage, you could potentially make whatever play you wanted out of that. 1.5%, you know, or let's just call it 1%, probably from the very first trigger point. Still 1.3, 1.4. So if you use 10x, you're looking at, 15%. Not bad. Again, don't just start using leverage going crazy. This is for trading spot. So right now, even shorter time frame, we're kind of looking at a pretty critical point here where we'll see if it triggers. Let's see if we hit here, break down, and I mean, that looks pretty close too. If it were to hit there, break down, and then maybe find support. And if it did, what would that give us? That would give us our new higher low. And then maybe a higher high if it follows on this support. Then again, if it breaks it and keeps going down, we wait until Thor gives us a long signal. Right now, do we have? We do have a long. 4.35, 4.21. Now this is on a daily, not the 4-hour. So it may take a bit, but what was it? 435. Go ahead and paint that green because that's a long. And what's our take profit? Our TP1, 4.88. So yeah, we may find resistance here, like it's calling. And Thor doesn't really know. We're going to find support or resistance. It's also got some shorts in here. 5.636 for a daily. And the low range, 5.57. TP1, 5.335. Oh, get more signals. ADA, short about to hit the zone. So looks like several things may be taking a little retrace. So what is this chart right here on dot telling us, right? What it's telling us right now with the signals that Thor is giving is price action is about to hit this, come down here, take profit. From here, it may continue dropping, do some of this shit, left, up, down. But once it hits here, it's confident that it's going to come take profit here somewhere, right? Or once it hits here, it's going to come down to take profit and find support. And maybe do some of this. Come into the range. Maybe even do that. Go through it a little bit. Come down to take profit. We don't know what yet. Thor doesn't know. Are we going to break down to here, find support and go long? Are we going to pump up to here, try to break new highs and not, or barely get new highs and then drop? What it is confident in right now, really close, is that we are going to, after this top, come down about 1.5%. Does that help you guys understand how to take a Thor call, how to look at it on a chart, and then see where you should make your entry, how to set your entries, how to take profits? Or anybody have any questions, want to look at other coins, anything? No, we all good?
For the moment, yeah, I mean, you covered definitely a lot. For instance, the low high, high to low explanation was very helpful.
Good. I'm glad. I think it's one of the things you need to just kind of understand. Once you recognize basic patterns and how to establish that pattern, and even just do this on your own charts. Look at it and say, okay, where's the low? The low is right here. So there's a higher low. Okay, what's this? There's a high. Where was the last high? There. So it's a higher one. Okay. Where's our next low? Okay. Where's our last one? Okay, so it's higher. Now we're starting to establish a basic trend, basic pattern. I think once you start to understand just recognizing the highs and the lows and how price action moves, you start to recognize how to use Thor and the way price might move. Yeah. Chip, we've been going a little over an hour already. All right, cool. Yeah, any questions?
I've never done futures or spot trading, but I don't really deal with DEX. I haven't really had much experience with DEXs. Where exactly are your funds allocated for Thor's use on the platform?
Do you mean like where does Auto Thor trade?
Or so, like if you're in a trade, are there that you put into your account or wallet?
I believe he's talking about exchanges. So I guess you want to talk about that a little bit, Lou.
Yeah, so, and this depends where you're at in the world, what your crypto regulations are. Please look into them, like do your own research, but before you just start jumping into shit. But, KuCoin is one of them that you can buy shorts and perpetuals and futures. Binance, MEXC, Bybit, Drift Protocol, and I know Monkey Dex Labs. They have shorts that you can buy decentralized exchange, just like with your Phantom wallet, you're making those purchases and interacting. But yeah, look at your exchanges, KuCoin, Binance, and do your own research and where you are and which ones you can interact with and everything else, of course.
Gotcha. And I was gonna ask. So with Kira too, like when you're entering in a trade, for instance, on Thor, how does it take the Kira as the gas?
Okay, so I think I think maybe you have two things a little mixed up. These manual signals, you do all on your own, right? The Thor doesn't execute these for you. You do these by yourself. Now, in the auto, once you enter your amount of USDC in, whatever you put in, it does this for you automatically over the next 90 days, unless you choose to close it. So you'll spend, you'll spend Kira one time with some USDC, with some Solana, and put it into the auto contract. And it will do all this for you automatically over the next 90 days. And it only charges you that Kira to open it and then taxes your profits. So you just get a little bit of your profits are taken, you know. So it's not charging you to use it except for the Kira. Now, the manual calls, these calls and those signals like I was showing you, this is up to you to, you know, on Coinbase, go buy Solana and sell some Solana. Buy some Solana, sell some Solana.
Okay, I had the two concepts merged together.
Yes, I understand what you were saying now. Yeah, so that's what's awesome. So what you are thinking though, this goes to the very beginning of the stream with DCA. So when Thor hits a 4-hour or a daily call on Solana, a 4-hour long or a daily long, that's when I will usually add some more into my contract. And you can see here's a smart indicator. When's a good time to enter? When's a better time to enter? When's the best time to enter? So you can add more and DCA into your contract. So on 4-hour and daily calls, I will some more into my police contract and let it automatically then do whatever it does.
And the indicator will the day alternate between gauges.
You got a little bit of robot going on. So it's a little hard to understand you there. Try again.
So the entry indicator will fluctuate. Gauges will fluctuate day.
Yes, this gauge will change and let you know. So if Solana is just like in the middle and Thor doesn't really have an idea or any calls what's going on, it's just a good time. I mean, anytime's a good time to get in, no doubt. Like, it's going to do whatever is best to do at the moment. So anytime's a good time to get in. Right now, it's saying, hey, we're getting ready to get by some signals. It's a pretty good time to get in. Now, if Thor drops to, or let's say Salon all of a sudden drops to $15, it's going to say, get in because we're buying and we're heading to fucking Valhalla. And the meter's going to be all the way up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and this is a way to know, looking at this diagram here, what is Auto Thor doing and where's it kind of at the moment? And since we're at 60-40 basically, 60% SOL, 40% USDC, ready to fire away as we dip more. So it's always going to hold on to some USDC.
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong too. The total volume is the pool of all the funds in USDC for Thor to use on its 90-day.
Correct.
And
so if you add this USDC, SOL, and MSOL together, it's equivalent to $133,000. Correct.
And SOL is being sold at the moment
You're still breaking up a little bit. Say that again.
And the 9% of SOL in that diagram represents how much is currently being used to sell.
So this is actual spot Solana, and it can even be used to stake and earn more. MSOL is just more liquid to where it can be transferred and sold faster. So basically, you can look at this as it's holding 59% Solana.
Okay.
Yep. 9 of it, maybe it's using to stake and earn more, but 50% of what Thor has is Solana ready to fire and sell when it starts getting to some take profit price.
Okay.
So what it may do too is it may get here and sell some of that MSOL and then buy that MSOL back. Sell some of that MSOL, buy some of it back at the take profit.
Us having more liquid for the entire pool for more yield.
Constantly accumulating more Solana is the goal, man. USDC is a shitcoin. Everything it does is tries to get more Solana. Now,
gotcha.
Getting more USDC helps it get more Solana, obviously. So, yeah, but that's the whole goal. And you can look at, so it's made 70 trades. The average volume of those trades are close to $2,000 per trade. The current performance of the contract is it's plus 11%.
Is that like I'm not sure I completely get the percentage meaning performance.
So the pool performed performance by 11%.
Okay.
You're getting a little robot again, dude. I'm having trouble hearing you.
I'm sorry. So the 11 represents like the current gains of where the contract stands.
Gains or loss, yes.
Okay.
So the lowest contract is performing at about minus 19, and the highest contract is performing about 27. So if you bought in at the absolute worst times, negative 19%. But here's what's here, and I know Sile's going to do something with this. Just because it says negative 19 doesn't mean you've really lost 19% of your. If you closed it right now, you'd be down 19%. But it has all this Solana waiting to fire and take profit on, right?
Yeah.
So your buying power, if you look at what you really start with, the amount of Solana you put in to the amount of Solana you would get out, a lot of times this number doesn't represent it very well. This is just a dollar ratio, but does not consider buying power, right?
Sorry.
If you're speaking, I totally lost you now.
Oh no, sorry. It kind of buffered out for me too. Could you repeat that?
What I was saying is this number is not always a good representation because it doesn't represent the buying power, right?
Okay, yeah, I get that. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Like if you bought in right here, if you opened your Thor contract like here, price has gone down. So you can't really expect it to be making money, but it's accumulating all this SOL to sell once it starts going up. So once price would get back to even as to when you bought in, you'd be exceeding break even because your buying power has increased so much.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I like to take my profits from. So let's say I have an account with $1,000 that I want to trade. I'll try to keep it at maybe 1,200 just in case I need to replenish it a little bit, right? But I will buy here, sell here, buy here, sell here. And let's say I now have $1,500. I'll take 300 of it and throw it in the police contract. Let Thor just go nuts with it.
Yeah,
let it do its thing, whatever it thinks is best. Whenever that meter says, is toward the better best range to buy in, whenever it's in here, or whenever we are on a Solana 4-hour or daily call that says go long, that's when I'll add to it.
Okay, gotcha.
And just to mention with that, it will cost 750 Kira every time you interact with it. So if you want to add to the pool, it'll be 750. If you want to extend it another 90 days, say that you're going to go on vacation for 10 days and you're not going to be able, and you don't want it to close, it'll cost.
Right here, you can close it or you can restart. Yeah.
Okay.
Or add to it. And if you add, close, or start, it's going to cost you 750. If you just do the initial deposit, it's not going to cost you anything to get those funds back. It's all that's automatic.
Okay.
Very good point. Thank you, Swap. Yeah. So it's just the one-time cost to open it up. And it auto trades does not cost anything else. But if you want to add more, each time you add money, it needs Kira, or if you close it.
Sweet.
But I hope these charts, I tell you what, setting these charts up and slowing down and thinking about them to teach you guys and review them with you guys is showing even me the power of Thor, like even more. It's crazy when you set these and just kind of wait for it, and being part of that Telegram group, getting that signal that bing bing, hey, dot is getting really close to getting in this range to make a short, lets me know, okay, I'm going to go open this trade. I'm going to set it here. And if I'm nervous about the trade, or if I want a stop loss per se, I can do two things. So since this is a short position, I'm just going to say if it opens up right here in the middle of the range, right, I can set my stop loss either here above the last high, or if I want to give it some breathing room here above the last high. But I wouldn't go that far, seeing that the take profit, I'll show you the difference. The take profit here. So this is a 2.29. So you're gaining 2.2 times as much reward as your risk. Your reward is 2.29 to your risk. Now, if you were to extend and make a stop loss there, now you're almost 1-to-1, not even. So you're actually willing to risk even more than Thor is calling for your take profit 1. Now, if you look at take profit 2, maybe it's here, or 3, maybe it's there. You know what I mean? But just looking at what take profit 1 calls. You know, you're looking at 2 to 1. And if you can think of it this way, if you put $5 on the table and you stand to lose 5 or gain 10, and you get this correct 70% of the time, that sounds pretty fucking good, doesn't it? I mean, if you can gain twice as much as you're going to lose, and you gain 70% of the time, it may not be, oh, I made 1,000 fucking percent yesterday, or fucking Sheeb sent me to the fucking moon. But if you think about the numbers like that, that is money in your fucking pocket, and it accumulates pretty quickly.
And that also helps you manage any losses, right? You can take 10 trades and lose 8 of those trades. But if you have a good stop loss, those 2 trades where you do take profit on will outweigh any of the losses that you made. So that's part of the risk management as well.
Exactly.
And
let's I'm going to go back to that real quick because thank you. That's something I said again needs kind of beat in.
Yeah, 70% means that you'll win 7 out of 10 trades, which means that you'll lose 3. So if the very first one you get in you lose, that doesn't mean you quit. That doesn't mean you quit. You just start to look at keeping your risk management down.
And we're going to go to what risk management is. Calculating. Can you guys see this? Am I streaming the right now? All right, cool. So risk to reward management, calculating, understanding, and accepting the risk versus the reward potential of each trade. How much are you willing to lose or risk for each trade, and is the potential profit worth the risk for that trade? So again, you need to do this with your portfolio as well as each trade. Let's go back to the chart again.
And real quick, while he's looking that up, if you're not super comfortable with charts and doing all those things, there is a risk management button on the website, and you can literally put in how much you're willing to risk, and it'll give you your stop loss and all of that, and your ratio.
Yeah, which is so awesome. So again, if I take this trade and I want to use a stop loss above these highs or above this, you know, I would put my stop loss here because I'm comfortable with a trade of 2 to 1. I may not be comfortable. I'm not comfortable with a trade of 1 to 1 or less than, because that's a coin flip now. Now again, Thor is calling for its spot trading. So this is just saying sell a little bit of your dot and buy some back. But if you want a long or short, you know, if you want to open up contracts, learn to short, learn to use leverage, you know, this is what you need. You need to have a stop loss. Need to have stop losses if you're going to trade contracts, especially any leverage, because you can be liquidated, which is a whole nother topic. If you're going to even think about that, you need a lot more education than I've given you in these streams in the past 2 weeks.
What? Not understanding stop loss?
If you're going to leverage trade, if you're going to start leverage trading, you need to understand more than what I've gone through as far as what liquidation is. We haven't talked about that at all. Just for an example, let's say you have you have 10x leverage, and you go 10x long on Solana, and Solana drops by 10%. 10 times 10 is 100. Means you lost 100% of that trade. It's gone. They take your money. It's not like you buy Solana, and if price goes down, that's fine. You still own that Solana. You can hold it as long as you want. If you use leverage or a contract and price gets to, say, 100% in the negative way, you lose all your funds. So that's why you would use a stop loss to make sure you only lose, say, 2%, which even that 2% times 10x, you lost 20% of whatever you put in that trade. There's a lot to learn, and it's way different risk management. That's why Thor is a spot trading tool. There is ways to use it with leverage for sure, but just to be very clear, it is a spot trading tool. That's what it calls for.
Awesome. Yeah, and those are all great questions. And remember, guys, this is all for you to learn. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you don't want to voice docs, just type it out and we'll read it out for you or do whatever. But everything that Mode is doing is just to educate you guys. We want you educated on how to use Thor. We want you educated in trading to begin with, right? Because we can give you all the tools in the world. But if you're not understanding how those tools relate to you and your trading and all that, Thor's not going to do anything for you. So please, if you have questions, write them down, ask later or whatever. But this is all for y'all. This is all for the community. He's going on, an hour, 45 minutes, almost 2 hours. 5 minutes, almost 2 hours, guys. It's what he's bringing you is great. What he's bringing you is great. And
I appreciate that, man. And I appreciate everybody that jumped in here, interacted, asked questions for sure. And if you look here, the way this is set up, we can use, you can ask questions in all these. So you can leave comments in all these different threads, everything that we talk about each week. So if you don't want to come up on stage, that's fine. Or you don't have time, maybe you're in the car listening and not actually able to watch, or maybe you can't interact with your own charts. Whatever it be, you can leave comments in here, and I will try to go through and update and answer any questions. That way, these charts from week to week, they can still be alive. They can still be updated. You can still get lessons, answer questions, whatever it may be.
Yeah, and the Trader Tuesday stuff is set up as a forum. So if you have questions later or think of something else and it's related to whatever is posted in that forum, go in there and ask and talk and have conversations, because the questions that you have, someone else may have as well. And again, this is all to help all of our community out to become a strong community of traders and people that know what they're doing and people that are happy with where they're at.
Yeah, thanks, because I just wish I knew it was broadcasted every Tuesday.
Now you do. And
eventually we're going to get better at recording these and doing all that, but it's all a work in progress. I mean, it is a lot of work, from Mode's end. He has to prepare for this. He has to get up here and talk and be eloquent and chart, on the fly. So all that stuff is takes a lot of experience and time. So like, props to him.
Appreciate that, man. And dude, if you missed the last ones, that's why the Trader Tuesday update or Trader Tuesday review, that is the name of the actual channel. You can see exactly what we went over the weeks before. You can see exactly where the chart was when we left off. What I'll do is I'll screenshot the charts exactly where we left off tonight, and I will talk about, where we left off and how to look at potential price action. So basically, it'll just be a little write-up review of everything we went over. And you can follow from each week and see what we said may happen, and then see what actually did happen. And be able to review this over and over again yourself. Now that you've heard me talk through it and then read the review, I think you'll be able to kind of go through it again, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's dope.
Appreciate you guys. We want everybody to succeed, and for real, like I said, doing these charts and everything is helping me review the basics again, and it's helping me see the power of Thor if I step back and not look at 15-minute charts all the time. It helps me really zoom out and see the real power of Thor. And it is powerful. But all right, we are close to 2 hours now. I'm going to hop off here, get myself some food, and I will have the write-up published probably by tomorrow morning. But I appreciate all y'all that joined. We'll be doing it again for sure. Tuesdays, and I don't know. I might just start doing them somewhat random, because why the fuck not, right? But Tuesdays are definitely going to be a thing, and sometimes I might just hop on and live trade and update some things. But if I do, it'll never be on the charts that we leave from week to week. Those charts do not get touched from when we finish to when we start again, except for me adding in new calls. But I never move the lines or anything like that. So it's exactly how we left off. Just new calls added. But fuck yeah, appreciate all you. I'm gonna close out unless anybody's got any more quick questions. Oh hell yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Oh, always, definitely.
Thank you. Peace, y'all.
Peace.
Always.